I don't know if you are in a state that has Whataburgers or if you've ever even heard of a Whataburger or what, but I used to go on a regular basis, and my favorite thing on the menu, without a doubt, was always the honey butter chicken biscuit. And I'm not gonna lie, since I've gone gluten and dairy free, not having the option to be able to eat that has been awful. So today I'm making honey butter chicken biscuits with our sourdough. At this point, all I've done really is just mix the dry ingredients, and then I'm putting in cubed butter. This is very cold butter. And for this particular recipe, I almost go to like frozen butter because you really don't want it melting until you're in the oven. But it's basically the same process as a normal biscuit. It's very, very simple, other than the fact that right after you've combined everything together, your rising agent is going to be your sourdough instead. So in this case, it's 250 or 260 something. We're about to see, but it's a good amount of Winifred in order to get a good rise. But I won't lie, the end product was absolutely worth it. Yeah, I think in the end it came out to like 260. And I can't use buttermilk anymore either, so I use almond milk as my dairy-free option. And then a little bit of apple cider vinegar at the end as an additional acidity, but also another extra rising agent as needed. And that you're seeing me put in right there, that tiny bit of maple syrup, is the full extent of the sweetener in the actual biscuit itself. So these biscuits, they're very, very simple. I'm doing this about 30 minutes before I need to start cutting up all of the meat and getting everything else ready so that it can sit in my refrigerator and just cool down. You can use it right away, but I prefer to cool it in the fridge. It just makes it a little bit more malleable and a little bit just like less sticky. After putting it in the fridge, while it's doing that, that's typically when I'm grabbing all of my chicken and all the other ingredients and getting those ready. I am one of those people who just cannot handle the little stringy bits in chicken. You'll see me cutting it out here. I always remove it. It freaks me out. I don't know why. I've never been okay with it, but you can actually use chicken thighs as well if you would prefer that. But again, too many stringy bits, so I prefer just going with a simple chicken breast. For this recipe, these chicken breasts are gonna give me 9 fried chicken pieces at the end, because I take the bottom half off, as you can see, that one's thinner, and then I split the top half into horizontally so I can get 2 more, patties out of it. And in doing this, I cook them for less time in my air fryer, which means they don't dry out. They actually get to the temperature they're supposed to be at so that they're fully cooked, but they don't actually end up drying out the outsides. They come out really juicy, and they just have a really good flavor at the end. This is me just getting it ready, obviously, to go into the air fryer, and that was my attempt at aesthetics, and it just got stuck to the counter, whatever. That in that bowl is a gluten-free flour 1-to-1 blend, and then the big ingredient, if you're gonna do gluten-free, is you have to put cornstarch in there. That was the second thing that you saw me mixing into the flour. Cornstarch gives it such a good crunch, and it just makes it, I can't even explain it. The difference between cornstarch and no cornstarch is incredible. And I make sure I get into every little fold, every little crease on the chicken, because I want to make sure that there isn't any spot where you're going to have a break in that kind of barrier that the cornstarch is making for you. After flouring it up really, really well, this is just a simple egg wash. There's nothing extra in this. Just whipped up eggs, and then the breadcrumbs are actually the Kroger brand gluten-free breadcrumbs, and then I just pour in a bunch of seasonings that I like. It's typically cumin, paprika, turmeric. I like a little bit of spice, so I throw in some chili and cayenne as well, maybe a little smoked chipotle. It really depends. But I just throw in whatever spices I think are going to be good. A little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, mix it all into the jar, and then that's where I get my breadcrumb mix for the outer layer. These actually end up cooking in the air fryer on 400 for about 10 minutes, I think, if I remember right. And then that gets a really good fry on the outside, and then I turn them down to 325, and I let them finish out another probably 7-ish minutes, and then that gives them the internal temperature that we are looking for of the 365 that I always go to. So with the biscuits, you can see this is very cold right now, straight out of the fridge. All you need at this point is a bench scraper, and that's it. and a little bit of flour, because you're not gonna roll them. They're very gentle still, or very, I guess, fragile still at this point. And so you don't actually want to roll them out and overwork them. You just want to shape them into a rough, circular, very thick puck, I guess. But you're really just trying to get them into a circle so that you can cut them into 8 roughly equal sizes. I'm a firm believer that dinner biscuits are sisters, not twins. And I don't ever go for exact measurements. Somebody's going to be lucky and get a bigger biscuit, and that's just the way that it is. But I cut them into 8 with this particular recipe. You could do 6 if you wanted everyone to be larger, but I just wanted to have enough for all the chicken. And you can see here in a second, there are still chunks of butter all throughout this dough. It gives it an amazing rise at the end, and it's just so flaky and delicious. You're just shaping them very gently into a circle, and you don't want to push them down too thin, because however you push them down, they rise a good amount, but they're not going to get huge. So you kind of want to keep them thick when you're putting them on the plate. This is just butter, honey, and salt. This is the standard Whataburger honey butter. It's incredible. If you haven't had it, you can't go wrong with butter, honey, and salt. So these are all of the ingredients, and this all together took me about 15 minutes of prep, but obviously it was in the fridge a little longer and there was more time, but really it's not that much work. And then look at this. This is one of those moments where you can almost hear the video. It's so soft and it's so flaky and it's so buttery. Oh my gosh, these are the best dinner biscuits ever. And they have that just slight sourdough taste. They're incredible. You have to try to make them. They're so good. You just add, at this point, your honey butter and your chicken. You make a quick little sandwich out of it and you're done. And they were so good. I think my husband went through 3 in about 45 seconds. They never last very long at the house. They're an incredible, incredible meal. And honestly, for this, it's served at Whataburger for breakfast. It's on their breakfast menu, and I'm not gonna lie, waking up to these in the morning, that's my kind of morning. If you have a chance, give these a try. Your life will be forever changed. You'll never go back. They're so good. And if you wanna see more stuff like this, follow my channel. This is what I do. I make yummy food.